Navy2001.com. Thank you. With me is Julian Ong. He's the editor of the documentary film From Philadelphia to Fallujah. Julian, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us, what was it like? What was the process like being the editor of this documentary?
It was a lot of fun. It was very collaborative, and it was good. It was a good experience for me. Working with Gil was, it was, like I said, it was collaborative. We, passed a lot of ideas back and forth, and that's how we work together. So,
how long did it take to edit the film? And if you know, how long did it take to shoot the film?
I don't know how long it took to shoot. I think it was over the course of a few weeks, and then it took us about a month and a half to put the edit together. And that was, Gil was really wanting to get it right, so he really tried to, go through as many of the different possibilities as we could to make it better. So, and I was definitely with him on that. So,
yeah, it's a very seamless editing job. It's a very good film. What other projects do you have that you might want to tell us about that you're currently working on?
Well, right now I'm just kind of working on developing some ideas, but primarily as an editor, I'm trying to focus on getting into doing more film work as an editor. So I'm trying to get in the union and do that kind of thing right now.
Have you done any other documentaries?
Yeah, I did do a documentary that premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival in 2008 called Gunning for the Number One Spot, which was a basketball documentary following 12 players that were scouted to be in the NBA at a high school, and they all came to New York's world-famous Rucker Park to showcase their skills and talents. And yeah, that was a great experience. I worked with Adam Yauk at Oscilloscope Laboratories for that documentary. So.
Well, again, very nice work on this film. Julian Ong, the editor of the documentary film From Philadelphia to Fallujah. Julian, thanks for being with us. With me is Patrick Arn. Patrick is the music supervisor for the documentary film From Philadelphia to Fallujah. Patrick,
yes.
Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Tell us what it was like, the process of being the music supervisor for this documentary film.
It was definitely entertaining and creative, something I've been missing, having run a record label for almost 20 years. It was, basically what I'm doing now, I take tracks, I represent over 200 artists right now, and I have music of all different types. And this is, a serious documentary, and where they needed certain music to fit certain scenes that some of them, obviously, as you saw the film, were quite sad, and others, being about the Army-Navy game, were energetic and exciting. And it was basically a lot of going through the catalog and figuring out which track would enhance the mood. So it was a lot of that. I didn't get to see a lot of it, obviously, until the end, but they gave me a good idea as to what would be visualizing, and I put the tracks together, and it worked very well.
Yeah, the music seemed to work
very well.
Tell us about your company. What's the name of your company?
Yeah, it's Gotham Records. I started in 1994, a long time ago. And that's when, before the internet came along, everything was great. People were actually making records and selling records in something called a record store. I had signed almost half my bands to the majors, known mostly for alternative rock. Company was picked up by Warner Brothers years ago, now with Sony, and it was great. I'd sign bands, develop them, put them on tour, and sell records. But the internet came along and everything started to change. Music has gone basically to, it's almost a non-entity. People don't buy records in record stores like they used to. They download music, or they go on iTunes. The platform's the same for everyone. A lot of people, unfortunately, when times change, they jumped ship and they left the industry. I didn't want to do that because I loved music and I loved this side of it. So there were a bunch of artists that I still wanted to work with, and I said that I'd like to represent them in one fashion on a non-exclusive basis, and take their music and place it into various media formats.
Getting back to the film from Philadelphia to Fallujah just for a moment, I'd like to follow up on what you just talked
Sure.
about. It's very interesting. Was there a lot of back and forth in terms of the music selection, or did you pretty much nail it on the first choice for most of these songs?
What's so crazy about doing stuff when you're providing music? Let's say you're a music supervisor and you tell me you need a love song. I have the perfect love song. But what I think is perfect based on whatever information I'm provided, you might not see it that way, or you might. You might think it is the perfect song. But then you have to pass the director's point of view and whoever else is involved, so it changes as it goes down the line.
So do you provide a number of selections for a particular part of the film, and then the producers and editors will make decisions, final decision as to which of those pieces is selected?
Right, right. And it's based on visually how it works and with the editing. And sometimes you can hit it perfectly, because if as you saw the scene when he was boxing and getting ready for the match, I have an amazing song by one of my artists called the Buddha Velvets. The song is called Cassius Clay. It was about training and wanting to become the next Muhammad Ali. It was a great song. And that worked perfectly.
Yes.
Other times, it has to do with the pace, with the movement of the people in the filming, of the characters, of everything involved. And it's so different. What you think might work, you could be totally wrong. What you think wouldn't work is totally correct. It's a whole different thing.
So music placement is an avenue for artists, in addition to performing or trying to sell their songs outright to the public.
To be quite candid, almost every record label that has been around over the past 10 years does something related with this, with placement. The reason I did this, I thought about what I had done for my own artists, for the Gotham Records artists. I had placed music. I have a gold record for American Pie and The Fog. I had done stuff with Adidas, with Nike. I mean, I've worked with everyone. I've placed the stuff in so many different other formats. It helps the artists. It's great for the companies, and it's a wonderful thing to do. That's really the direction that I'm going now, because I love it. It's creative, it's fun, and I'm involved in something. Here's a wonderful documentary that had that means something that's going to be around for a while, and I'm thrilled that I was able to provide something and have it last. Not just a record that was sold at one point, years ago, and now it's gone. Now they're on to something else. It's a lasting performance.
There's a lot of human interest
Yes.
in this story, the film that we just watched.
Yes.
What other projects can you tell us about that you might be working on?
Very interesting. I'm working on a something called El Nacional, and it's now called In Search of the American Dream. And it's unfortunate. It's a film about a family that has a problem with immigration and so forth. So. Doing that. I have a bunch of other things coming up that's very interesting. I'm also doing a lot with retail too. I placed 90 tracks with Pottery Barn. I had music on America's Funniest Videos this year. I had music on Damages in the movie Dare, in the film From Prada to Nada, and what else? Just so many videos and so many things that I'm coming up with, and I love this. Right
How big
now.
is your catalog?
It's getting bigger by the day. It's great. Like I said, we have over 200 artists. We are putting together. See, here's what I do. Let's say I have a song. I spend a good half hour to 45 minutes with every single song I have, and I put it into a database that I created. The lyrics, the mode, the tempo, the genre, everything. So that if you were to call me up and say, you know what, Patrick, I need a song about the Army-Navy game that needs to sound like Michael Jackson's Thriller, I can enter that information, and bam, 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 in 2 minutes, those songs come up if it's related to what I'm looking for, and it's wonderful. I don't stop. I have no social life. This is all I do, but I love it, and it's great. It's basically like part 2 of my career, and it's very interesting. Years ago. There was a book written, How to Start Your Own Independent Record Label. It was put out by Dale Schwartz. And she wrote about me, you know, and I was thrilled. The next book that came out was called You Don't Need a Record Label, and she was absolutely right. The most recent book that she worked on was Billboard's Guide to Licensing, and it talks about how I'm now doing the licensing thing, and that's basically what's happened. Labels have shrunk, and now it's about helping others and getting stuff placed for everyone.
You know, speaking to the audience of my project, Strong Body, Strong Mind, this is
Yeah.
Patrick Arn, music supervisor for that project.
Yes, it was
And,
great.
you've been very helpful so far with
Excellent.
the music on that project.
It's great. We have so many great tracks, and it's wonderful when it works. You know, it's a great thing. It's music, and music's so important. You
It
know,
is.
I mean, you could be in the worst mood or put you in the best mood. You could have. You could just have no energy, and bam, in 2 seconds you do, as I'm sure you know. So no, that was great. That was wonderful.
Thank you very much, Patrick.
Absolutely.
Patrick Arn, music supervisor for the documentary film From Philadelphia to Fallujah. Thanks a lot for joining us.